I thought it was a great learning experience and let us be more independent.
It helped us learn, I think, better than any teacher would.
Osmosa was an enriching experience personally for me as well as for the students.
In this video, I'm going to be showing glimpses into future learning based on research I've been conducting that's been funded by the Australian Research Council. But before we get into the exciting findings from this work, sadly, I need to tell you some bad news. Let me share a context before I explain what I mean. I'd like you to think back to when computers were first being used in the 1950s and 60s. They were giant machines that filled up rooms and required many, many technicians to operate. We put people in space and on the moon because we had this type of computer power. Look what I have in my pocket, and what the majority of kids have as well in theirs. We have over 8 times the computer power of the Apollo mission control mainframes that put men on the moon in 1969. Now think about education in the 1950s and 60s, the old chalk and talk days. The bad news that I talked about before is that schools are still basically using the same techniques as they did back then. Unfortunately, there is now considerable research that proves traditional teaching methods are not adequate for learning more demanding 21st century knowledge and skills, especially in science and related areas. So, on with the exciting news of our ARC-funded research. We have developed innovative approaches for learning enabled by technology, which over the last 3 years have demonstrated some very exciting results. We are finding that students ages 13 and 14 are able to learn challenging ideas about science. Indeed, these ideas have been found to be difficult even for older students at top universities. Unlike traditional ways to teach, where the teacher tells the students information to learn and then sees if they can use it, typically on a test, we have the students use 2D and 3D computer programs to do science in order to learn science. This approach really turns the kids on. We see that the kids are quite motivated and engaged when learning with this approach, and our research findings show exciting learning gains. We've developed a digital learning experience that has 2 different parts. One part's the 3D AMOSA virtual world, which is a game-like environment. We've also developed a 2D computer model that the students use to run computational experiments about the virtual world that they've been exploring.
We've created a virtual world called AMOSA. It allows school students to visit as if they're going on a field trip. They interact with different intelligent agents and can ask them different questions. They also meet our intelligent animals. They live in predator-prey relationships with one another. They flock in herds of different sizes. It gives students the experience to visit a fantasy island and explore questions and learn about scientific inquiry in a way they could never do in the classroom.
Just like real scientists, students come up with their own research questions, generate hypotheses, identify dependent and independent variables, and run computational experiments to test their ideas. They then analyze the data, make presentations about what they've discovered to their classmates and their teacher.
The kids in this project are working in a virtual field laboratory, which is what biologists do in the field. They go out, they count things, they measure things, and that's what research is all about. However, it's really difficult to do experiments. Hypotheses are hard. University students really struggle with them right through their degrees. But the kids in this project are really getting the hang of this. They're working with independent variables to work with their questions. They're thinking like biologists, and that's really fantastic.
In our classroom-based research, we've been working primarily in the local public secondary school that has a wide range of students. In traditional ways to teach science, the higher academic achieving students do quite well. However, most of the other kids generally don't. In our research over the past 3 years, however, we have found that all students made significant learning gains on the tests that we've administered after they've used our AMOSA virtual world and computer model. We believe that the technologies and learning approaches such as we've developed will help students learn science in ways that meet the new demands of employers and professionals, as well as for an informed, democratic citizenry in the 21st century. These approaches are also easily adapted to help students of all ages learn other subjects, such as mathematics, history, social studies, digital literacies, and so on.
I thought the program was very beneficial. The students took ownership of their learning, and most importantly, they learn in a collaborative manner, so that peer-to-peer learning, I thought it was very good.
It was a really good experience. We were learning so much and it was a game.
I think AMOSA it's a really fun new way of learning. I find when the teacher's just standing up at the front of the class, it can be a bit dry and just bland. This is a lot more interactive with the students.
I thought the learning element was very subtle. It helped us to learn more about how scientists could gather information.
It was really good because I felt like I actually could do the science. I'm actually really interested in science now.
It was really cool because we were learning and having fun at the same time.
And I really hope it comes to school sometime soon.
Thank you very much for watching this video glimpse of future learning. If you are interested in learning more about the research, using it, or being involved with future developments, please call or email me.